you don't love me. You don't love me. Because if you loved me like I loved you, you wouldn't have wanted to put me through this pain, this anguish, this mental strain that I've been dealing with for a little while now. A game so bad that I can say with confidence it's the worst game of all time. Virtual Highlight on the Sega Saturn, in my opinion, used to be the worst game of all time. But this far surpasses it. This is on a whole nother realm of horribleness. And it's something that you guys have been, much like a small child going to their parents. Mommy, I want this for Christmas. Daddy, I want this for Christmas. And then if you don't give them that gift for Christmas, they hate you for the rest of your life. And then they'll try to stab you in your sleep. Much like the child who incessantly begs for something. You have been incessantly begging me for something. To review Balan Wonderworld. A game that I played the demo of, and it broke my spirit. Because on the surface, Balan Wonderworld did not seem like a bad thing. It honestly had a lot of things going for it with that initial trailer. The first trailer got me very excited for several reasons. The main thing was I thought it was a spiritual successor to Nights into Dreams on the Sega Saturn. One of my favorite games of all time. Nights, it's a game that looks great. It's a game that plays great. It's a game with a great soundtrack. The boss battles themselves are fun. Trying to get a better time and try to get a better score in the game was also reinvigorating for the sort of genre. Everything was going into more open sort of landscapes. This was kind of a throwback to different types of games that we had seen of yesteryear. And it was fun. It hit all the check marks that I look for in a video game. I remember as a child going into KB toy stores, seeing a Sega Saturn on display. And I was like, wow, what is this game? Look at these beautiful graphics. And I went up and I started playing. I was like, yes, this is great. Sega rules. I love my Sega Genesis. I need to get a Sega Saturn. Yuji Naka was behind that game. Yuji Naka was behind Balan Wonderworld. We had the same sort of dichotomy with like a boy and a girl that you could play as, much like in Nights. You had this weird top hat androgynous character, much like Nights, who was an androgynous jester, flying around, having fun, doing cool things in Nights. You hardly ever played as a child. You were literally the child who walk up and get the night suit. That was it. You were always Nights. Balan gave me that sort of feeling. But after the demo, I never wanted to play the game. I had no reason to. I hated the demo. Why am I going to play the full game? I made a bet with my fellow Spawncast members that if Metroid Dread sold 3 million copies in its first year on the market, I would play this game. And you know what? You guys disappointed. It sold 2.9 million. Well, RGT, they never updated the sales figures. That's not my problem. If the game has sold over 3 million copies and I'm Nintendo, I would want to talk about that. We never got confirmation from Nintendo that it sold over 3 million copies. But I digress. Unlike you, I love you guys. And you've been asking for this review for so long. And I've come to the realization that you actually hate me. Unless this video blows up and does great and views and stuff, you legitimately hate me. Because I thought the demo of this game was bad. But the demo was nothing. The demo was absolutely nothing to the madness that I was going to experience with this full version of the game. Let me go on record and say this. There is no way in hell that any reviewer who played this game and got it a little bit early or played it on day one and reviewed it, there's no way in hell that any of them beat the game. It's impossible. I will go on a limb and say that. It is impossible. And I'll explain why as we go through this video. Pierre Noel, do you have anything to say?
Ho, 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 RGT. Suck it up, you little bitch.
Thanks, Santa. Thank you. So Balan Wonderworld, it has a story. I'm going to be honest with you. I skipped through it because I didn't care. But it's kind of similar to Nights in its structure that like a kid is getting bullied for whatever reason. And then like you somehow give them strength to overcome the bully. But it's not really always about kids because the first level is actually like a farmer whose crops don't have water or something. It's honestly very bizarre. And I didn't much care for the story, but I didn't really necessarily care about the story in Nights. The story in these games was always just, an ends to a mean. It was always about the gameplay and how the actual game played and how it performed. Now, Balan Wonderworld has you playing as one of two characters, a boy or a girl. You can slightly customize them to look different, but really it's just different hairstyles. We really didn't go all that much crazy into the presentation on this. Now, the first level of the game I was familiar with, because in the demonstration that was available, you played through the first level of the game, and that's where you learn sort of all of the game's mechanics. Now, as you're playing throughout the level, you're constantly getting these different suits, which on paper, it doesn't sound like a bad idea. You have these different suits that are pretty much different abilities that you could switch on the fly. The problem is that all these suits have a unique characteristic to them. Like, one will give you like a long neck, and one will give you like an electric shock when you jump, and one will allow you to butt stomp on things. But in order to use these abilities, you constantly have to change between the different costumes. It's not like when you get a costume, it just adds on to the previous costume that you got. No, because that would make sense. That would be too smart for this game. And obviously this game, it didn't have a lot of thought process going into the concept of this game, because you quickly realize that having all of these suits and having to change between all these suits is very cumbersome. There's a little animation that plays between every time you change a suit. I'm gonna calm down. I'm not gonna let this ruin my Christmas, because you've already ruined my Christmas. Now, as you're playing throughout the level, you'll get to a spot where you see a little top hat, and it's like, cool, now I could play as the Balan guy, the fake knights, and do something. And then this is a whole nother level of disappointment, because like I said, in Knights, you pretty much played as the kid for like a couple seconds, and then you got your knight's costume, and you were flying around the level, having fun, collecting the gems, trying to get big loops and stuff like this. But in this game, no. We can't have any fun in this game. We just turn into Balan, and you press a button at the appropriate, when there's like a silhouette, and then you press the button at the appropriate time. Sometimes you'll have to mash the B button, but you don't control anything that goes into this. You don't control the flight movement. You don't control the battle that's going on the screen. No, that would be too much fun. That would actually constitute like a video game instead of just a game where you're walking around in different costumes like a freaking furry. No. Can't have fun in this game. So these segments are completely pointless. They are completely pointless because they're devoid of any sort of interactivity. You get different types that come along, but at the end of the day, they're all the same. Press B at the appropriate time, occasionally mash the B button. Who thought this was a good idea? You keep showing this weird top hat dude in all the trailers flying around, being all magical, being all mystical, having fun, and I am not having fun with this game. And I'm still talking about just the first damn world, by the way. Because once you get out of the first world, everything just goes to absolute shit. So as you're playing throughout this game, you'll notice that there are some trophies around, little golden statues of Balan himself. I assume that's Balan. I mean, that's all I really have to go on. So you're watching this. You're trying to collect these trophies, but you'll notice that a lot of these trophies you can't quite access yet. Okay, that's a little bit weird, but, moving forward, let's just keep going. The boss battles themselves, you do 2 different levels, and then you have a 3rd level, which is a boss battle. They're okay. Like, I would say they're better than the normal gameplay because of the fact that at least it's a little bit different. You're not just kind of meandering around and trying to platform on a very shoddy platforming system being done by the different costumes. There's a little bit of variety in them. You have to use different sorts of costumes against the boss, but it's fine. I honestly didn't mind the boss battles all that much. But then you get out into the meat of the game, the meat and potatoes of the game. You gotta throw these gems onto a thing on the ground, and these little weird things come along and eat them, and then they start to build a structure in the middle of the overworld, and it's like, what the hell is the point of this? Is this the only point of the gems? Because I'm going out of my way to find all these damn gems in the game that I don't even need to be going to, because I don't care about these little things building some structure in the middle of this hub world that I'm in. But once you get deeper into the game, you start to see all of the real problems with it, because every level gives you a new set of suits, and there's a new gimmick that goes along with that level. Like the aforementioned little jellyfish suit that you get that has electricity on it. Well, you got to use that in order to go up streams. If you want to go up a stream, you got to have the jellyfish suit. And you start to just realize that all these levels are pretty much contingent on these costumes and using them within the game. So that's not like the worst thing in the world. Now, obviously, there are a bunch of costumes that I feel are very pointless because they don't do what's intended. There's one that you get where it's like a bubble thing that you stand on and you hold the button and it gives you a bubble and you jump and then you go across, but you can't attack because you don't have any attack with this. All you can do is jump. And the bubble just seems to go at random times. There was one time when I was trying to get across this one platform and the bubble literally would not come out for like 10 times, and then the 11th time it just came out. And I thought to myself, why is it doing this? I'm pressing the button in the same way. None of this makes sense. So you beat some more levels, and then you get to level 3. Level 3, you know, it's very heavy on platforming. Very heavy. The whole thing here is you're a lightning bug, and you gotta knock the lights off so that you can hover, because you can only hover with the suit when the lights are off. Okay, that makes. I've seen lightning bugs in the daytime. They're not sitting there perched on a tree like, oh, I can't do shit until it's dark out and then I can fly around or something like that. But okay, you know, little artistic freedom. And then you get to the end of the 3rd level and you're like, where's the 4th level? What's going on here? Why can't I not progress? And then you realize those little trophies that you've been picking up, little golden Balan statues, those are much like stars in Super Mario 64. You have to have a certain amount of these damn trophies in order to progress through the game. Now, on the surface level, that doesn't sound like a bad thing, but here's where it becomes a problem, because a lot of these trophies, 9 times out of 10, you won't even see them. And the only way you can go back, you have to go into the level once again that you've played. Once again, complete the level and try to find the trophy. And you'll notice little things. You see like this little spider web on level 1 and you're like, well, how do I get up there? And then eventually you get a spider suit. So here's what you have to do. You have to go into the level where you got the spider suit. Beat that level without getting hit so you don't lose the spider suit. And then go into the previously played level that you've already played, equip the spider suit, and then go up there and hope and pray that there's a damn trophy. This is a Metroidvania style game, but Samus is fucking dumb, and she loses her abilities all the time. Whenever a level's complete, it's like, oh, well, that's it. Oh, I got hit. Oh, I lost my beam. Now I can't open any doors, so I'm just stuck in this corridor for the rest of my life. Maybe I have to go backwards and find another beam. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? And that's where I reached my breaking point with this game. I had to go back and find a set amount of trophies so that I could advance. It's not good enough to beat the level. It's not good enough to beat both the levels. It's not good enough to beat the damn boss. No! You gotta find these damn trophies. Why are these trophies in charge of everything? Then the little Balan dude comes on the train. Whoop, whoop! Whoop, whoop, and then you go into these, unlocks a new thing on the same freaking island that you've been on, where you've been putting the weird gems and just throwing them on there. I don't get this. I don't understand this. And if I'm going to play this game, you know what? I'm going to play the worst version of this game. I'm going to play the Nintendo Switch version of the game. And that's what I did. I actually have a physical copy of this game, but guess what? I couldn't find it. So I had to download it off the eShop. Luckily, it was on sale for $11. And that's $11 I'll never get back. Because holy Christ on a cracker. The performance of this, and I can't speak for the PlayStation version or the Xbox version. I'm going to assume it's bad, but probably not this bad. Choppy frame rates? You got them. Questionable platforming that doesn't respond to you? You've got it. An animation every time you want to switch between a costume? You've got it. Things. Why is everything dancing in this game? I don't understand. Everything's like, yeah, you're coming through. We're playing Balan together. Don't kill yourself. We're playing together. It's so bizarre. Everything dances, and when you get up close to it, it disappears. It just goes away, and then you back up, and then there it is again. All these other characters dancing around with different costumes, different suits, and it's like, why are you not helping me right now? Couldn't you be helping me? You have the same costumes that I have. Why are you just standing there dancing around? Why is Farmer Ned in the start of the game? What the hell are all these giant people? There's giant people that just like look into you because your guys just shrunk down into this weird thing. Because at the end of the third level, it's like you're in a little construction thing with like different insects, and then a butterfly emerges and it flies around, and then all the kids don't bully the kid anymore for being a weird bug girl who like to play with bugs and insects and stuff like that because a butterfly flies out. A butterfly is still a bug. That wouldn't make her any cooler. That wouldn't make her like more popular in school because she hatched a butterfly from an enclosure. She didn't even do anything. The butterfly hatches itself. It's not like she mated with the butterfly and created it and this was her daughter or her son butterfly. This is the worst game I've ever played. It's the worst game that I've ever played, by far. And I've played a lot of bad games. I've played a lot of horrible games, you know. But I think the biggest thing that I take away from my playthrough of this game, well, first off, I had to cheat. I had to use an FAQ because there's no way in hell, like I said towards the start of this video, nobody beat this game before FAQs were available, before people spent tons and tons of hours looking for these trophies, because a lot of these trophies are very well hidden. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you're never going to find them. I went tooth and nail through some of these levels trying to find these trophies without using an FAQ, and I couldn't do it. I looked in every freaking crevice, and then when you actually figure out where it is, it's like, how the hell would I have known that? How would I have figured that out? This game has every major design flaw that I look for in a game. It runs bad. It looks bad. But most importantly, it plays bad. And I think that's what hurt me the most. Because I can still pick up Knights and play it on my Sega Saturn. I can still have a really good time playing it. I still think it's a fun game. I still think it's a game that holds up well. Play the Steam version. You got nice 1080p, 60 frames per second graphics. But nothing will help this game. And this is how Yuji Naka is probably going to be remembered. You know, this and Rodea the Sky Soldier. My time with Balan Wonderworld is time that I'll never get back. I can always make money back, the $11. That's not that bad. But time. Time was lost playing this game. So I hope you appreciate your Christmas gift. Because I need a break now. I need to clear my head. I need to rethink life and what I'm doing, because this game makes me question everything. How this game could get released with all these core fundamental issues, all these problems that are thrusted right there in your face. A game like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, people are able to look past the frame rate issues because they like the core game. Okay, whatever. There's nothing to like about the core game on this, and it has performance issues. There's nothing vindicating about this game. The music's okay. I'll give the music a little credit. Some of the boss battles are not the worst thing in the world. But just the horrible design of this game, trying to be Super Mario 64 with Metroidvania elements, because you need all these damn costumes in order to get to certain places, meaning that you have to replay a level just to get a costume, and then replay a previous level with the aforementioned costume, and still beat that level, and you move so damn slow throughout the level, so you're gonna waste a ton of time trying to do it. Good luck trying to platform as well, because the platforming is completely broken in this game. The camera's slow and sluggish as well. The character movement speed is ridiculously slow. Why is everyone still dancing? Why? It's like a cult. It's like a Jonestown cult where like everyone's like, hey, the press is coming. I'm Jim Jones. The press is coming. Everyone dance. Everyone's got to dance. We got to dance for the rest of the time here. Every time somebody comes up to you, you dance, you dance, you dance. And all these people are stuck within that cult because they're not helping you out. No, you're the outsider. You're the weirdo. You're coming into their world and they're trying to look at you and laugh at you. They're like, look at this crazy person. We're just going to dance on his grave. We're going to piss on his grave. I've been pissed on by Santa Claus. I have been pissed on by you. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, and a Happy New Year, because I'm not going to have a Merry Christmas. And you know what? I'm not going to have a Happy New Year, because this is something that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. So I hope you're happy. I hope this was worth it to you, to see a man go through a mental breakdown over a video game. I have nothing else to say. I'm speechless. I hate everything. Video games were a mistake. Pin this game to the cross and never let it down.